Good morning, South Korea. This is your DJ Brian. You're listening to The Drive-In on TBS efm 101.3. So we're here in the middle of the week. So I'm wondering how things are going for you guys right now as we speak. For me, I'm going to be honest, it's a little cold. It's been snowy, rainy, and then with the cold air, the roads are still frozen. So it's, a little uncomfortable driving under these conditions. But I want to make sure that you guys stay warm. But even though you guys have to stay warm, I want to give you some bad news. It's going to get colder tomorrow for those of you who are in South Korea. We're going to go into the negative double digits again, and it's going to be really cold. And I'm worried tomorrow because I'm going to be outdoors tomorrow in the afternoon doing another TV shoot in the freezing cold. Not regular cold, but I mean at a ski resort. You know that show, Dream Team. I got to do that again. It's going to be cold. I'm just scared thinking about it. Anyways, I hope the weather clears up soon because, the groundhog didn't see shadow, which means the winter's supposed to be short. You know that? So I don't know what the groundhog was doing or if they're lying from Pennsylvania. I don't know what's going on. Anyways, that reminds me of a great song because, I want the warmth to come. And when you think of warmth, what month do you think about? May. Yes, there's no connection, but the song is called Come What May from the 2001 film Moulin Rouge, and it's performed by Ewan McGregor and Nicole Kidman. Check it out, y'all. That was Ewan McGregor and Nicole Kidman with Come What May from the Moulin Rouge original soundtrack. And you're listening to The Drive-In. We're on TBS efm 101.3 in Seoul and surrounding areas, and GFN 98.7 in Gwangju and 93.7 in Yeosu. And I'm your go-to guy for the hour, Brian Ju, and we always like to hear from our listeners. So here are a few ways that you can get in contact with us. You can call the studio at 02-778-1013 or send us a text at #1013 for a charge of 51 to your smartphones, or simply send us an email at efmdrivein@gmail.com, or you can just tweet us away, which everybody does these days, at efmdrivein. And you can also leave us a message on our webpage. Just go to tbsefm.soul.kr and scroll down the program list to The Drive-In. And then if you have any requests, or just drop us a line. Feel free to contact us any time of the day. And, shout-outs are very encouraged as well. But make sure the requests that you guys send in are from a movie or a TV show, because that's what our program is all about. And right now we have a lot of Twitter comments online. We have one from Eun-hye. She wrote, "Hi, good morning. Going to tune in to the EFM Drive-In with Brian G Music in a while." Well, actually not in a while. Right now, actually. You should supposed to be tuning in. Also, we have one from May Ann, who listens pretty much every day. Thank you, May Ann. She wrote, "You want to switch? LOL. I haven't been skiing in a while. I suck, but playing in the snow." Okay, basically, she's talking to somebody else with our Twitter name on there. So, May Ann, just thank you for tuning in. It means a lot to us. Also, we have one from Nikki Lewis. She said, "Here it was 60 degrees Fahrenheit. It was so nice, sunny, and blue skies." Well, Nikki, just rubbing it in for us because we're jealous. So unless you buy us a plane ticket to go where you are, don't tell us about your weather. It's so cold over here. We have one from Brian Ju, Canada. Short, "Happy Wednesday. Not feeling that great because I got sick and still cold here and wind chill." Well, yes. Apparently, I know it's really cold in Canada as well. So I hope you stay warm. Stay indoors if you can. If it's possible, don't go outdoors. It wouldn't be wise to go outdoors with this cold air. Anyways, with that said, it's time for the scene of the day. Now, today's scene is from the 2002 film About a Boy. And in this film, Hugh Grant plays Will, a single man who is financially independent, so he really does nothing in his life but date lots of women and just sits at home and watches TV all day pretty much. And one day he goes on a date with a single mom, and he really enjoys the whole experience. And single moms aren't looking to get married or have that, that drama, all that baggage and all that stuff. They're too busy for all that. So all they want is to get in, get out, get over with it, which is pretty much his style as well. So to meet more single moms, he joins a support group for single parents called Single Parents Alone Together, or simplified, SPAT. That's what it's called, SPAT. But there's a problem. He doesn't actually have a kid, so he's not a single parent, obviously. But he invents one, So later, when he's on a SPAT picnic with one of the moms, he actually starts liking her, and he meets Marcus, who really takes a liking to him. Marcus is apparently the mom's son, yes. I saw this movie and I totally forgot a lot of the storyline. But later, Marcus discovers that Will, Hugh Grant's character, doesn't really have a kid. So he goes to Will's house to confront him. So let's find out what happens. Oh, wow. honestly, just listening to this scene, people can be annoying, and this kid is pretty annoying in this movie. Because you ever had that situation when you have somebody, they were invited, you didn't want to hang out with them, but they just show up, and you're like trying to hint to them, like, you got to go home, get away from here, but they have no idea. You're like, it just stresses you out. And I feel for Hugh Grant in this scene. And he's trying to tell the kid to go away, and this kid's like, help me with my homework, let me watch TV with you, blah, 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 blah. And those kind of kids are so freaking annoying. Well, in fact, Hugh Grant's character Will doesn't have a kid, and the blackmail Will, they're gonna go, the kid wants Will to go on a date with his mom, and it becomes a disaster. Still, he and Will develop a relationship, and then by the end of the movie, Will has learned something about himself and who he really is. And I can't elaborate more on the plot because then I'd give away too much. Even though I saw the movie, I'm not gonna tell you what happens. But if you guys want to know, go out and watch the film. It's a good film. It's a good, sit home, good feeling movie. Hugh Grant, always a great actor. But we're gonna play a song for you guys from the movie, and this is Something to Talk About by Badly Drawn Boy. Once again, that was Badly Drawn Boy with the song Something to Talk About from the About a Boy original soundtrack. Now, coming up on today's show, it's Wednesday here on The Drive-In, and that means Eugene will be here for Behind the Screen, where he's going to give us the latest news about, movie news. And also following that, I'll talk about a musical because it is Musical Wednesday. So stay tuned for that because that's going to be after intermission. But right now we have a song request, and the request is from Chanyoung, or CY, and it's for the song from the 2001 romantic comedy film Bridget Jones's Diary. And this film starred Renee Zellweger as Bridget Jones and Hugh Grant as a suave boss. And you know what I realized? We talk about Hugh Grant a lot today, or especially today. And this is the second film that we're talking about with him in it. So Hugh Grant, if you're listening, you got to send us some money or something, some little something. Just joking, Hugh Grant. And it's kind of difficult when you're falling for your coworker, it gets difficult, awkward, it's just a very weird situation. So, I can kind of relate to this, in this situation. Who hasn't fell in love with somebody they work with? Not love, but, you got kind of funny feelings for this person. You think they're attractive. You want to go on a date with them. And this is going to be really awkward because she can't concentrate on her work because she likes her boss, And then they finally start a relationship. But then Bridget Jones meets someone else that she also likes as well. And that character is played by Colin Firth named Mark. Yes, and Colin Firth is a sweet character in this film. So what's going to happen? Go rent the movie. All right, we're going to play a song for you guys from this movie that was requested by Chanyoung, and this is a song, Someone Like You by Dina Carroll. That was Dina Carroll with Someone Like You from the Bridget Jones's Diary, requested by Chanyoung. And right now we have another song request. Actually, it's on Twitter. So she wrote, Good morning. 오늘은 일본에 눈이 내려와서 완전 추워요. 서울은 어떠세요? 신청곡이에요. The Twilight Saga Breaking Dawn Part 1, It Will Rain, Bruno Mars. 부탁합니다. Well, this is for you, Keiko from Japan, who requested the Twilight Saga original soundtrack song, It Will Rain by Bruno Mars. And I'll be back after intermission, y'all. All right, y'all, listening to The Drive-In, and it's time for Behind the Screen with Eugene.
What's up, Brian? I'm not even going to try to rhyme, all right? I heard you say the other day that, Mike was better than me at rhyming. Oh, my goodness.
No, but you just rhymed. You said, what's up, Brian? I'm not going to try to rhyme.
Oh, hey.
It kind of sounds like
I'm a poet and I don't know it, right?
There you go. So you got to actually not try, and it comes out naturally.
All right. So I did want to apologize. On Monday, it was Super Bowl Monday, and I brought up that news story about Psy doing the horse dance with President Obama at the halftime show. No, it was Beyonce, actually.
So it was Beyonce inside?
No, not Psy did a commercial actually for pistachios. He wasn't part of the halftime show.
Okay, because I didn't hear about the news afterwards because I was too busy working.
Yeah.
So, all right, there you guys have it. It was Beyonce, not Psy, performing at the halftime show for those of you who didn't see the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think that article that I pulled up, though, that was like The Onion or something like that. So it was like fake news, I was trying to be funny, I guess, but that's not
I see how it is.
So, my bad. Sorry about that, guys.
Yes.
But let's get right into the stories. Do you remember Avatar? Of course you remember.
Of course
Avatar.
the blue people.
The blue people that were, they lived on that planet, and the humans had to go there and get the element called unobtainium, right? Because it's worth a lot or something.
It's a valuable thing, yeah.
Yeah, so they, have this huge war with all the people over there. Well, James Cameron got sued multiple times.
Why?
Because there's so many other movies that people say that this movie copied off of.
Like Pocahontas?
Like Pocahontas. Some people said Dancing with Wolves even. Like you got the white guy who joins the Indian tribe and becomes one of them and then ends up fighting against the U.S. Army. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of similar to this because, the character, he starts out with the humans and then he joins the aliens and then he ends up fighting against the humans again, right? So, someone sued him, but in the U.S. District Court, the judge has ruled against the person who was suing. That guy's name was Gerald Morowski, and he filed a lawsuit claiming that he proposed the idea for Avatar back in 1991. But actually, Cameron also filed this 45-page sworn declaration about his history with Avatar. And he was talking about, I had a dream when I was a kid about being a scientist. And, I really did, meet this person in 1991, and I even lent him $5,000, but he never gave me any idea for Avatar. But I don't know which side to go with this. I mean...
Well, with Hollywood, there's going to be drama all the time. People make up stories.
That's true.
Yeah.
And also, I think it's possible that maybe he got some ideas from this guy, but not necessarily that, the whole movie came from him. You know what I mean?
Well, not even an idea. Maybe it's something like, maybe I came out with a new song.
Right.
But say one day you were like, Brian, I have a great idea for a song, blah, 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 blah. What do you think? And I tell you, that was already an idea that I was thinking about.
Oh, right.
So you think that you had somewhat of a say in the song that I wrote, and then later on, I'm like James Cameron saying, no, I already had that idea.
Yeah. I don't know. I think this guy, Morowski, was just, trying to cash in. So that's why he attacked, James Cameron, trying to get some money from him. So, I mean, I can't really say one way or the other, but I mean, if the court ruled against him, then obviously, the court must have believed that James Cameron's story is strong enough to the point where they believe that he came up with Avatar himself.
Yeah. But it cracks me up how people go that far of a distance for some money.
Yeah, I know, seriously. And also, like, they were saying it was like Fern Gully. Do you remember that movie?
I heard that movie. I never saw it, though.
Yeah, it's about some guy who is in the jungle in nature and stuff.
And is there like little fairies they fly around?
I'm not exactly sure. It was also, they say it's like Pocahontas, like you mentioned, and even Dune, which I don't really see that at all. Have you seen Dune before?
Nah.
Okay, that's like a sci-fi movie from the 70s, from before Star Wars. I didn't see the connection at all between those two. All right, let's go into the next story. Fast and the Furious 6 extended trailer. It's 3 minutes long. And it came out during the Super Bowl, and I saw it. Did you see the trailer?
Nope.
You didn't see the trailer, all right? But you know the Fast and the Furious, of course,
yes,
right?
I do.
Okay, well, in this one, the previous movie, Vin Diesel and The Rock had a fight in the previous one. And so now in this part 6, The Rock is back. But this time he wants to work alongside with Vin Diesel's character, right? Because there's some, terrorist team that has, stopped this military blockade or something. And he's like, well, if I can get... those criminals that I fought against before to help me, then maybe I can take care of the terrorists, right?
Well, that kind of sounds like a lot of movies that are already out there. You become friends with the enemy, and then they find another enemy that they both hate.
Right, exactly. But I mean, this got a really big central role in the Super Bowl, and a lot of people were really excited about it. I don't know if I'm really that excited about it because I stopped watching after the first one.
Yeah.
But did you see the other, there's that one, Tokyo Drift?
No, I didn't watch it after the first one either because, I mean, I love cars, but this movie makes people who like cars are weirdos, kind of.
Yeah, it's either like
race and blow things up and...
Right, either that or you're a criminal you're smuggling stuff in your cars and stuff. And
exactly, we're not like that.
Trying to hide from the police. Yeah, it's really unrealistic. I guess it's for those people who they like drinking lots of soda and eating popcorn while they watch their movies. Oh, look, a fast car. Another fast car.
Well, if you're interested in seeing what cars are tuned up, then go watch this movie. I recommend it if you want to see that kind of stuff.
Yeah. But, The Rock is a really good actor.
He's a great actor, but you can't really put a great actor into a film like this and expect him to be great. Because the movie itself might make you not seem like the best actor in the world.
I kind of agree with you, but, I mean, he's a good actor, but he's also good at, being an action star, too. Because he was a wrestler. And also, he is now I think he went back to wrestling recently. And he's now the champion of the World Wrestling Entertainment. WWE champion.
He already won?
Well, he fought, what was that guy's name? CM Punk at the Royal Rumble, and he came out on top, actually. So, he's going back to wrestling. He's still in movies. He's doing all that. I think he's going to be like the next Hulk Hogan, you know what I mean? Like, wrestling late into maybe even in his 40s or 50s.
Shoot. If he can do it, go for it. That's what I say, dude.
Have you ever
able to do
wanted
it.
to be a wrestler, Brian?
I mean, when I was younger,
Yeah.
I love the Bushwhackers.
Oh, the Bushwhackers. I love
yes.
those guys, yeah.
I love the Ultimate Warrior.
Really?
And I remember back in Jersey, me, my brother, and a lot of our neighborhood friends would pretend we were the WWF wrestlers.
Oh, right.
We'd make the whole belt and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Put
So you had
paint
your
on
own
our faces.
wrestling league?
And yeah, we had a wrestling league, and every Saturday we'd wake up at 9 o'clock,
Yeah.
meet on our front lawn, and see who would match who, and then we had a little board writing down, eliminate people and stuff like that.
Right,
We'd
right.
have
But that
tag
was-
team matches.
That was from the era back when everything in the WWF was like, kind of, gimmicky, So you
Yeah.
had the guy, this one guy was a hockey player, and another guy would be like, I'm the Russian wrestler, and he would
And also,
wave
this
the
is during-
flags and everything in the 80s.
Exactly. And this is during an era when we actually went outside to have fun, kids. Not on your smartphones or computers, We actually were very physical back then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that was a really good era, and once the Nintendo Entertainment System came out, it seems like people just stopped doing this
All
kind
video
of
game
thing.
systems, computer games, all these things.
Yeah, I agree. Like, one thing I liked to do when I was a kid was just go out and ride my bike or use
That
my
was
rollerblades.
fun.
Yeah, that was really fun.
Yeah. Or
But-
play, like, armies and soldier guys in
Yeah.
the woods and stuff. And
Yeah, you get your little fake
Yeah.
gun or a little fake sword and start
Exactly.
hitting people with it and stuff.
kids start needed doing that again.
All right, shall we go to the third story?
Alrighty.
Okay, the third story, it comes from, you remember The League of Their Own? Do you remember that movie?
That movie was great. That was a female baseball league, right?
Yes,
Movie?
the female
Yes.
baseball league. It starred Gina Davis and Madonna and Rosie O'Donnell and Tom Hanks. right?
Yes.
And he's like, "There's no crying in baseball," and she was crying.
one girl's crying, yeah.
yeah, that was pretty good. Actually, the inspiration for the character that Gina Davis played the character Dottie. That was based on Lavone Pepper Pierre Davis, and she actually died recently.
What?
Unfortunately, she's 88 years old. But she was the inspiration, and this is a pretty sad story actually, because she was a really good character in that film, right?
That's true. Well, all
Yeah.
the characters are great characters.
And I just wanted to say, baseball was always considered to be a man's sport, and kind of it still is today, right? Usually when the women want to play baseball, they say, "Oh, you're a woman, you got to play softball," And it's kind of not
that's
fair.
sexist.
It is kind of sexist, but if you look at the Olympics and everything, there's no women's baseball team. It's always softball, right? And I don't think there have ever been any women in the major leagues, maybe in the minors, but I think that women should be able to play. Definitely. I mean, they maybe not at the same level. They should have their own league at least. They got the WNBA, right? They got
That's true.
it's time. They have the
They need a
women's soccer
co-ed
league.
sport. That's what they
Co-ed sport? Actually, I played a co-ed sport in high school.
need. And you punched a girl?
No. I didn't punch any girls. It was co-ed volleyball, actually.
I mean, back in school, we all had co-ed stuff. Co-ed
Yeah.
volleyball, co-ed dodgeball, kickball,
Yeah.
track.
No, wait,
And
but did you actually have a team for your school that was playing against
For a
other schools?
school? No.
No, we actually did. So I was
Oh,
on the
wow.
co-ed volleyball team.
Well,
it's because
much more love to you guys then. That's cool.
yeah, it was cool but the thing is that there was different rules because they wanted to make sure all the girls were involved. So you couldn't hit the ball between two guys. You had to
You have to let a girl
pass-
hit it.
Yeah, which that makes sense. But
Yeah.
then again, the whole thing was because I guess where we were from, the guys that played volleyball, they weren't really seen as the most macho guys there ever were. So there wasn't really enough players for a male
You can't
league.
judge people like that.
I know.
I know some volleyball players
Of
who are
course.
just jacked. They're all muscular and
I
everything.
totally agree, but
Yeah.
it wasn't the most popular sport. Everyone was going for football or basketball or soccer. So
Soccer was more popular than volleyball back then?
amongst men, yes.
Wow.
So, there wasn't enough men players, so they just formed a co-ed league and used some of the girls from the girls league and also, and, that was pretty fun. We were pretty good. I was
That's
actually
cool.
pretty good, to tell you the truth. But, that was a long time ago.
All right, that's what Eugene just said. He was pretty good at volleyball. But with that said, since we did talk about Avatar,
Yes.
we're going to play a song for you guys right now from the Avatar original soundtrack. And this is Leona Lewis with I See You. And are we going to see you soon?
Yeah, I'll actually see you tomorrow, Brian.
Alrighty. Tomorrow, that's right. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, okay. All right, we'll see Eugene tomorrow. And right now, it's time for Leona Lewis with I See You. Musical Wednesday. Hey y'all, Musical Wednesday is here, and today we've got one of the most famous musicals of all time, Bye Bye Birdie, which came out in 1960. And this is about a pop star, Conrad Birdie, the most legendary rock musician in America, getting drafted to go to war. And all his female fans then take the streets and protest. And it kind of matches the real life situation of Elvis Presley, who was drafted by the military in 1958. It's also a musical about kids in the 1950s. You know, the ones who had pride in the school and everything and all that stuff. Well, you can't talk about high school kids without talking about high school love. In this next song, a girl named Kim tells her friend Ursula about how she got pinned by Hugo in the backseat of her car, you know what I'm saying? And when I say pinned, don't get dirty. I mean, he put his actual pin from his sweater onto her sweater. And then back then, that was a big deal, and it meant the couple was going to go steady. Yes. Do you remember that word going steady? Do people actually use that word anymore? I don't think anyone uses that anymore. But I mean, things were so much simpler back then. So here's the song, The Telephone Hour, from the Bye Bye Birdie original soundtrack. That was The Telephone Hour from the Bye Bye Birdie musical. One thing I want to say about that song, the Korean word for it is very 정신없어. Yes, so many things going on. So many people singing it all at once. So it's like it's hard trying to understand what's going on. I mean, they're obviously talking about the girl who got pinned, and going steady and all that, but that's about it. Everything else is just too fast, too many people all at once. It's like a confusing rap track. Anyways, I want to talk about another famous song from this musical. And a lot of people don't realize that the song from the musical actually got famous enough that it stands alone from the musical itself. And in fact, there are a lot of people who know the song, but they don't know that it came from Bye Bye Birdie. And in the film version of the musical, Mr. Dick Van Dyke plays Conrad Birdie's manager. And there's a part where the woman he loves is feeling down. Oh, poor lady. Well, he decides to make her smile with this song. And here's Put on a Happy Face from the Bye Bye Birdie musical. That was from the Bye Bye Birdie musical, and it was Put on a Happy Face. I know you guys know that song. But right now, it's time to wrap up the show, but stick around because we have 101 Main Street with An Jung-hyun next. And if you're listening to GFN, then stay tuned for Hello Korea. But before I go, I want to read one Twitter comment because Ebony, she requested a song. We can't play the song for you, but she wrote, I would like to request a song dedicated to my parents. It's their anniversary. Can you please play Adore You from The Wedding Planner? Well, we can't play the song for you today, but we want to congratulate your parents on their anniversary. But with that said, we do have a song that we want to play for you guys. It's from the Life of Pi original soundtrack. And it's about an Indian boy who survives a shipwreck and he's in a lifeboat with a tiger. So it's out in theaters right now. So I urge you guys to watch this movie. It's a great film. And here's Pi's Lullaby. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. This is Brian Ju signing off. Peace.